Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Lisa Whitehouse and I'm the artist behind Whitehouse Art. For today's tutorial, I want to walk you through how to paint a pair of mushrooms using watercolors. For a full list of everything I use in the video, be sure to check out the video description below. Alright, so to start things out, we're just going to sketch out our mushrooms. So I'm going to do one larger one and one smaller one. So I'm going to draw just the basic mushroom shape. And there's really no wrong shape here because mushrooms come in such a variety. But the one I'm doing is a fairly traditional style. And so I've got that shape there, and then I'm going to draw the little skirting that comes below and then have it go wider down below. It's a little bit wonky, but that's okay. I actually prefer them to be less than perfect because I feel like it's cute. And then I'll draw the little one down below, and I won't do the skirting for that one. I'll just come straight out and do that. And then I'm going to add some foliage and things like that as well afterwards, but I don't need to sketch absolutely everything out. So I'm going to erase some of the lines that I don't need. And if you're sketching this out at home, make sure to keep it nice and light. Some of these lines are too dark and they're going to show up too much underneath. So I'll just get rid of them. All right. And keep in mind with watercolors, we can also get rid of some of them after the fact. So you can erase pencil through the watercolors once it's fully dry. So I'm going to start out by adding some circles, and I'm going to use clear water first. And then I'm just going to get right into drawing them. And I like my circles to kind of follow the pattern or the shape of the mushroom and then get more sparse as they go down. So I did a few to start, just using clear water. And then I go in and I start adding my color, and I'm making my mushroom red with hints of other colors as well. I'm just going in and adding the circles back in, letting it kind of bleed around. And then, like I said, I'm gonna make them a little bit more sparse and a little further apart as they get further down. So about like that is what I want. And then what I like to do is take my brush and just go in and pull that color out. So you have to move fairly quickly for this to work. But basically what I'm trying to do is have that paint now start to bleed down. And I'm going to take a little bit of pink and I'm going to go down here. And then I take clear water and have that bleed in. So I'm just kind of going back and forth between adding clear water and paint. And you can certainly do it just all red. I just like to have a mix of other colors in there. And depending how light or dark you want it to go, you can keep adding color at this point, or you can just let it dry. I'm gonna throw in some yellow. And then I'm going up here while it's still wet and just going around some of them again. Oops, I had a little bit of black in my red, but that's okay. So I like the top to be nice and bright, so I'm just going in and darkening that. And this is a good time, if there's any pencil showing, you can just cover it. That way you don't even have to worry about erasing it. So I'm gonna move a bit of my paint around just to make sure, but I want it to be kind of lighter there. So now I'm gonna make my way down the mushroom. And I'm gonna add some teal here. So I'm gonna start out again by going with clear water. And I'm being sure to leave a thin, very thin white line there. And that's just so that the red doesn't bleed into the teal. You can also just let it fully dry in between, and then you won't have any problems. But whenever you wanna butt up to a color that is still wet, you gotta be mindful of leaving a little bit of space. Then we're going to go down this part. I'm just filling it all in with clear water. I'm just gonna throw in some more teal. I'm not worried about that bleeding in or whatever. Keeping things fairly loose here. And then I'm gonna take some yellow and drop that in here. Just a bit of yellow ochre. All right, and then I'm gonna move into my other mushroom. So same thing, except because this one's smaller, I'm just gonna start by like just drawing in the mushrooms. I'm not gonna even add the clear water first. So just adding these little circles that follow the shape. Just like so. All right, now I'm gonna add a little bit of pink in this guy as well. I really like the way this specific pink behaves. Yeah, I find when you work with watercolors, you start to notice how each of them behaves, and some bleed really well, some don't, some get grainy as they dry, and I just find that this permanent rose pink really spreads nicely. So I'm gonna throw some yellow in this mushroom too. And then while this one's drying, I'm gonna throw in a little bit more here. And if yours is fully dry, I wouldn't do this, but I just noticed mine is still wet and I kind of wanted to toss in a little bit more. So now I'm just gonna let that move around. And as it dries, it'll move around too. Now we're gonna go here and do this one. And I'm doing like a very quick painting, but if you're at home and you have the time to let it dry between each of these separate areas, that's always ideal. It's certainly easier than trying to leave space, and I can be a little bit impatient sometimes. We'll just throw in a bit of yellow there. Just like so. All right, so now I'm gonna do some of my foliage, and I'm gonna stick with my dagger brush for this. And I'm gonna take my green, and using varying pressure, I'm gonna add some leaves. So I'm gonna do very light pressure, and then heavier pressure to light pressure. So just going like that, we're just getting that shape, like so. I'm gonna do a few down here. We're just adding a little bit of interest around them. Then I'm gonna take some darker green and do one here. Maybe one over here. And when you're adding them as it's wet, they'll kind of bleed around, and I like that effect. Then I'm gonna do maybe an offshoot here. Nothing too fancy. We're just keeping this really simple. Like so. And then I'm gonna add some fun little splatters around too. Now you can do splatters in different ways. You can have them overlap. I have some pink ones here. And I'm gonna grab some teal and do some here. The key with getting good splatters is to have a very wet brush. I notice a lot of people when they're starting out, their brush isn't wet enough. All right, so that is everything. So I'm gonna let it all dry, but that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed painting along with me. If you had fun doing this tutorial, be sure to hit that thumbs up button and hit subscribe if you wanna see other videos just like this one. Thanks for watching.